Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Good morning and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Carol and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Gretta Chamberlain, Kathleen Lee, and of course, the Realm of Beings. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that all three of us with the Realm will be at the New York Expo New Life in New York City, October 19th to 20th. It's at the New York Bar Historical Building on 44th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue. Anyone on the East Coast, please come see us. Greta fills up quickly. Her speeches are packed, so please go ahead and get your tickets now. We'd love to meet you all in person. We at Shifting Impressions are very happy to be here on Transformation Network every Friday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and 8 a.m. Pacific. Listeners, if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us and being part of this experience. These conversations will help you look at your life and your creation of reality to see what you're creating, how it shows up, and how to help you gain perspective so you learn how to shift what you are creating in order to create what you want. So welcome everyone. To new listeners and viewers, each week Greta shares with us a quote given to her from the Realm of Beings, which we first discuss with each other, and later on in the show, the Realm will join us to expand and expound on their quote. This week, the quote they have provided is one we all need to hear because it's about living without stress. The quote says, "Counter the creation of stress in your life by creating peace as your alternative to support you functioning in high vibration." And don't we all want to not have stress? I would like to say that I was starting to speak to somebody recently about creation of reality, and I talked about high vibrational energy versus low vibrational energy. And this person asked me, how does one increase their own high vibrational energy? And my quick response was, the usual stuff, meditation, affirmations, etc. And then I thought about it a couple of days, and I remember what Greta's teaching me and what the Realm is teaching me. And I went back and I told them about unconditional love of self being the most important way to increase your high vibration and to find peace and joy within yourself. Was I correct, Greta, in giving that advice?
I think so, Carol, because that's really the foundation of change. When you have a paradigm that you don't particularly want to maintain, then you start loving yourself more. But you know what? Inside that, and I can feel Kathy's brain just moving around. I see she's shaking her head.
You see my eyes going like this, right?
Yeah. I see you ready to chomp in. But I just want to say this, if I can remember it, that, unconditional love helps you to create realities that support you where you want to be. That's the first thing. And I've heard people tell me, that's selfish, Greta. I said, heck, it's not selfish. To love yourself, that means you're loving your divinity.
That's exactly what I thought. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's the divinity you're
And I
appreciating.
even mentioned that to this particular person. I said, when I'm talking about loving yourself, I'm not talking about conceit or self-absorption. I'm talking about appreciating the divinity of your energy essence. So,
Right, because see, when you can appreciate yourself, then you can appreciate others.
and you
And
attract others who appreciate you
yes,
too.
absolutely, because they're going to support you where you're at. But I'm going to turn it over to Kathy because I know she
I
can't
know,
hardly
Kathy's
wait
patiently
to
No,
waiting.
say it.
technically, I was going within. I was connecting with my inner being because this month we're talking about our inner selves. And I guess to me, I always look for the quick, fast, easy way out of things. Um, why can't we just say I'm experiencing increasing my vibrational level? I create my own realities, like standing on one foot going beep up, beep up, beep up, because you watch these people and all, you go to these like conferences and they say, well, I'm going to take you to the fifth dimension. Okay. Up and away, my beautiful balloon. I mean, it's like they're doing all of this hard stuff and all they have to do is just see themselves raising their vibrational level by just like you said, loving yourself. But you can love yourself and be a horrible individual to other people. Isn't that true too? But as long as you love yourself,
No, because you have to look at what is unconditional love.
okay.
We have to define that. And unconditional love uh, is the one is that you see. Let me say this instead of saying what I was going to say. Unconditional love is the pathway toward understanding oneness. Because until, I don't care who you are, you could be the holiest of holy. If you don't understand about unconditional love of self, you cannot reach oneness.
Mm.
And it doesn't have, I want to say, people are so interested, I might be deviating, but they're so interested in being in these dimensions. They think that when they're in the fifth dimension, oh, wow, I'm higher than somebody who's in the third dimension. I'm going to let Kathy address that because I love the word, how she defines it. But it takes away, it makes you see yourself as one with the other person. And it also assists you in realizing that you create your own reality. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but that the other person is creating his or her or their reality. And you go inside yourself and you say, that's okay. It's okay, whatever reality they're going to create, because they're creating those to support the lessons that they are committed to learn. See, we don't know what lessons. I don't know what lesson you have, Carol. I don't know what lessons Kathy has. I'm still learning to know what lessons I have.
Truth.
So it's love that it's very expansive. It's expansive in love. So when you're loving yourself, you're giving support to yourself, not being in what we're talking about today, stress.
Mm.
That's one way of eliminating stress. Now, Kathy's got something to say. I can say.
No, because part of, I guess, it seems to me like, and I don't know, people out in the audience or whatever, working on myself, and I have been, is stressful. Sometimes it just trying to not be stressed stresses me to freak out. It just does. And I go, oh my God, I shouldn't have thought that. And I know we have the tools and everything, but it's like last night I had a challenge sleeping because there's a project that I'm working on for an organization. And I'm like, I need for them to understand the power of representation. How do I convey that in such a way that, it doesn't stress them out? Because I can read the energy in the room with people, and I can see where they're kind of going, oh, here we go again with this. Here we go again with this. But that's not the purpose. But anyway, it stressed me out so much that I overslept and I missed doing something else. But I guess people need to understand that sometimes when you are working on yourself and looking at your inner self, stress is normal. But the quote that we're talking about is, how do we remember that it's a normal thing and not make it so normal? Am I making sense, or is my inner
Yeah,
self?
no, actually you are, Kathy. And first, I would like to thank you for being, in addition to me, someone who remembered that song by the Fifth Dimension. We're giving our age away. And as we've spoken on this podcast, we know there's no such thing as dimensions. I understand exactly what Kathy is talking about. The one thing I might differ is where you said that you thought it was an easy fix that you look for. I'm probably the exact opposite of that. I think I complicate things more than I should. I overanalyze. I dig through layers of my brain cells and the unconscious and try to figure out, why do I feel this way? Why did I think that thought? Why did I attract that person?
But that's stressing you out. Isn't that stressing you out?
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
So I try to think more about creating the peace. And I think Gretta's even given me an affirmation to do with the QDR about experiencing being in peace, joy, and ease. And I have to remind myself about that all the time. And just for the listeners that might be new to this, knowing what your lesson is and understanding you creating your reality isn't a instant fix. It doesn't happen instantaneously. It is something we have to work at. We have to remind ourselves all the time that we're creating our own reality, because most of the time, I don't think most people realize it, that that's what they're doing. And if you're not creating your own reality, you don't see anything, you don't hear anything, you don't feel anything. That's all creation of reality. Everything else is illusion. So don't expect an instantaneous result, but understand that you can live it in a peace and joyful manner and not have to stress yourself out to the point of discomfort. Because sometimes, I think I said this on an earlier podcast, I was always one that I worked well under stress. Like if I had deadlines and multiple projects, the more I had to do, the better I was at it, believe it or not. Hard to believe that now. But so stress can be used to our advantage, but I think the stress we're addressing here is the kind that is allowing us to not accept and love ourselves. And that's what we want to find, is the support that's an alternative and that keeps us functioning in high vibration rather than low vibration.
I think you brought up a good point, that stress is not necessarily a bad thing. And then when we say that, then we have to say, really, there is nothing bad.
Right.
We as humans, through our experiences, will say, okay, that's a bad person, or this is a bad thing, or this is terrible, whatever. But once we turn around and we look, that everything, I don't care what it looks like, everything is working for our good. Everything. If you fell down the steps and broke your leg, you're going, oh my God, I broke my leg. And everybody else is going, oh God, you broke your leg. So everybody goes into this whole drama thing about the leg, But then it's important to stop and look and say, what is that providing me with? What is that? What is my leg that I love dearly because it's part of me, but now I have created to break it? What is it doing? Then you look at the mental equivalencies. To fall down the steps is anger to begin with. So your leg is showing you that you're angry about something. If you broke the right leg, then you're saying, oh my goodness, there's a male in my life that I'm feeling angry about. So all of these things show us. It shows us lessons that we have committed to learn, because The falling down the stairs is a how. How do you want to learn your lesson? See, and that's our determination. How? Now, stress, Carol, you use stress to produce work faster. You see? But at the same token, you've got to put your body through all that. Because, see, there's a physical body that's attached to all this now.
Hey.
And so how is the physical body taking that? Stress.
Right.
What happens to the physical body? Because you have that cortisol that's being produced,
adrenaline,
and some of the challenging expressions of stress. You can go down into depression, what we call reverberation, because stress doesn't stay in one place. It's going to reach out, and depending on how you're using it. See, now we're getting into, how do I use this emotion? How do I use this feeling? You used it to produce faster work. But when you were doing the faster work, I'd like to ask you this question, Carol. How did your body feel while you were going through it?
There were plenty of times that I did fall into depression or anxiety. So, yes, I totally understand that my body was probably telling me I was pushing it too far and I wasn't listening at times. So you're absolutely right, Greta. That's exactly what happened. Now, just as an alternative of that example, could someone have broken their leg because it was their way of allowing themselves to get some rest? Because with a broken leg, you don't really have much choice. You're not going to be running that marathon, are you?
Ever again. But you know what, for me, because I am a facilitator and I am a transformational specialist training with Greta in the realm and everyone else, it's like sometimes it sounds as though we're saying, oh God, I bumped that. What am I angry about? You got to keep asking. But all you do is ask your inner self questions all the freaking day long. And it's like, why? Sometimes I just don't want to ask myself. I don't want to know why I banged. I just want to say, damn, and just move on. I just don't want to analyze it. But I find myself, like, how do we not overanalyze? Because then it builds up like, oh God, I'm looping. Oh God, oh no, oh no. And it's like, sometimes I just want to chill. Okay, so I dropped the glass and it broke. Sweep it up and just move on. But I guess that's also what we're talking about too, even with learning the lessons. And I think I'm moving into that phase where I can say, okay, you scraped your Subaru, and I did, because you were angry, and I kind of was frustrated, but it's okay. And yes, I'm only approaching 30,000 miles on a 7-year-old car because I don't drive it on the highways, but it's like, I'm slowly getting there. And you know what it is? I'm dealing with one lesson and one coming to me and one challenge at a time, like with the finances, like the old me. Oh my God, they're putting the roof on. I'm stressing out. What's it going to cost? And now I'm like, I need the roof. I've got a leak. So come on, let's move my feet to the bank.
Just deal with it. Yeah.
Let's just deal with it. And I found out that handling those types of things is not stressing me out. In other words, I can create what I'm going to get stressed out over and whether or not it's worth me getting stressed out over. I got to get a new freaking roof. That's the bottom line. I can't worry about that.
Worry is such a useless emotion. And sometimes, Kathy, and what you're talking about, the more we learn, especially from Greta and the realm, I almost sometimes feel like it's worse for me.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I feel like, well, if anybody, I should know better. Why am I doing this? Why did I
Exactly.
But the truth is that most of what Greta has taught me, I realize experienced and believed these things before, probably in different terminology, but I did understand, and that's why creation of reality was so easy for me to latch onto and to study. The one thing I want to let listeners know, if you are a person like me who is perhaps a type A personality when it comes to working and maybe overexerting yourself and putting yourself under undue stress, I found, because I'm retired, in case our listeners don't know, so I don't work anymore. I find I never use this word anymore, and I used to use it practically daily, and that was overwhelmed. I used to constantly feel overwhelmed. And I just now realized I haven't used that word in years. And I think it's because of the QDRs, the affirmations, the understanding that everything that's happening to me is my creation. And if I don't want to create that anymore, I should just stop creating what I don't want. And it sounds simple, but it does take some work.
It takes some work. Yep.
Yeah, the more you know, the more you know.
Right, right. I think there's a really important word that we can attach to this discussion, and Kathy was the one that said it about a few minutes ago, and I cued into it, and that word is chill.
Mm-hmm.
Just chill. If something is coming, instead of going, oh God, like Kathy put her hands up to her head, oh God, what's happening? Just chill. That's the first thing. Chill. Because sometimes you've created things anyway that are challenging you, maybe because there was a part of your life where you didn't love yourself. You don't necessarily going to love yourself unconditionally through every moment. You might get to this part and then you go, oh, oh, damn, look what happened.
Yep.
Look what I created, So then it's at that moment you say, well, I wasn't loving myself. That's the bottom of it. But
Right.
you don't just stop there and perseverate on it and keep saying, oh, why did I do this? Why did I do this? You want to look at the suggestion that I want to give is look at why you think you created it. But then you're going to move, once you understand why, then move on to uncreate it. See, you can get stuck, and that supports stress a lot. You stay right here. You stay right here. In other words, if Kathy had stayed in the emotion of her roof leaking and could not move on it, that's going to stress her out. The stress is right here, the intensity of it. Stress is intensity. You can go to a birthday party and have stress. We know of a gentleman that Kathy and I are facilitating for, and one of his issues is stress. He has stress. If he goes to a birthday party, he gets so happy that he's among people and he's enjoying himself. He stresses himself out from that. You know what I mean? So it's not that you always have to stress yourself out from things that are challenging you from a low vibrational standpoint. Stress is stress. So I think the big thing about it is two things: love yourself unconditionally and chill. Chill. I tell people, stop, breathe. Stop and breathe. This is not the end of the world. There is an answer out there for you for anything you need an answer for.
And actually, it's inside you already.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's always the inner being, go inner. But most of us want to go out. They blame somebody. Okay, you did that to me. I tell people, you better turn around and look at yourself.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you something right now. There a lot of people in this country are under a tremendous amount of stress, and just chill. And they are full of fear, and it has to do with elections. and they're just flipping out. And my brother called me. I said, oh my God, okay, you know what? I'm emotionally neutral here. And that's what I'm just going to chill. I'm going to fall back and breathe easy because the only thing I have is one vote. And I know what I'm going to do with mine. I don't care if half the head is missing and he hops around on nubs. I know what I'm going to do. And that's how other people feel too. But that's how other people,
you're so descriptive.
I know, but what I'm saying is it doesn't really matter which I'm trying to say. People make their own decisions, their own choices. But what I'm talking about is grabbing those reins and living without the stress, like to how we're coping with it. Mm-hmm. Because we're also adding to the stress, people with the energy that we're putting out there.
Right.
We're adding stress on top of stress on top of stress. And I'm thinking about what's happening over there in the Middle East, the stress upon the stress upon the stress. And it's like these value tensions is out here and then it has to go back. And it's just amazing to me. But it's, you get emotionally involved in things that I can only change my own reality. I cannot change the realities of other people.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think that's a big point that people need to understand, that, like Kathy said, feeding the energy, especially if it's from fear. How many times have we said on the podcast, what you fear is what you're going to attract to yourself? And years ago, when I was reading all my self-help books and things, I remember a particular book where, and this stuck with me, this is from more than 40 years ago, where they used the word worry. And the person or the author of this book said, why do you worry? It's a useless emotion. Analyzing it, if you worry about something, does it fix the problem? No. Does it make the problem go away? No. So then why waste your emotion on worrying? Instead, address peace with yourself and, understand you can create the reality that's going to fix whatever issue you're dealing with or challenge. So it's a good reminder. It
is. But another way of looking at that is worrying. Does it help you or does it hurt you? Is it helping to worry?
I've never experienced worrying to be helpful in any sense of that.
Right. And I have decided that worrying about the roof that's being fixed, I want a remote controlled skylight, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to get the pole because I have decided I don't want to have the stress and worry about remembering whether or not I opened or closed that darn thing. And chilling.
That's a good word.
And one thing that I find that some of us do, I know I've done it, is that we bring other people in. We create other people to come to us and support us in the stress.
For sure.
We tell our friends, our relatives, and before you know, we got a whole conglomerate of people saying, oh my God, because all of this is energy. See, we forget because we see things, we see our hands that I'm showing up, but we don't realize that these two hands that I'm showing up are actually pure energy. See, we don't realize that. So when we don't realize that when we speak, we're speaking with energy. We're giving energy. So when it's like walking around, some people say, how do you feel today? Oh, I feel sick. I don't feel well. Okay. So you're stressed out already because you don't feel well and you're sick. But at the same token now, you've told somebody else, person A, that you're not feeling well and you're sick. So person A will probably more than likely say, oh, I'm so sorry that you don't feel well and that you're sick. So how is person A going to perceive you? Now person A is not perceiving you as a healthy person. Person A is perceiving you as an ill person. So that means they're sending you energy to assist you in being more ill.
And look what you put in your empty box. Look what you put in your box. And I have decided I wasn't letting anybody put this whole crap of this election in my box. And I said, and the person said, well, I'll talk to you later. I said, you go spread that with other people. That's not entering my empty box.
Right. We got to remind people that we did a whole podcast and it was called The Empty Box. And that's what Kathy's referring to. If you haven't seen it, you might want to just go on your favorite podcast platform and take a look at it. It's called The Empty Box, and it shows how you bring people to you to support you in whatever in your lessons.
Real good one.
Yeah, and you can put them in, you can take them out, But we do, and we so other people can come and assist us in our stress. A good example, which is a political example, is January 6th at the Capitol. What was that? All of those people, I looked at those people, I said, all those people are stressed out.
Yes, they were.
They're stressed out over their lives, what's happening to them personally, you see? But look what happened. They came together as a collective, a whole big ball of stress.
Yep.
And then we have people on television, not on television, but looking at the TV going, oh my God, what are they doing? Some people are saying, oh my God, what are they doing? That's terrible. They shouldn't be doing that. So what's happening to the person that's looking at it? They're stressing out. And what else are they doing by their thoughts and what they're saying or what they're thinking? They're giving more stress to the people that are participating in the January 6th experience. And then you got other people who are saying, go for it. Yeah. Go get it. You're doing a good job. Yeah.
Well, I sit in my kitchen and you get locked up. Because now you're chilling now. You're chilling.
Hey, but look at the people who got locked up. Guess what? They created that reality.
Yes, they did.
That's right.
Created that reality. Now, we don't know why they created that reality, but they would, if they didn't want, first of all, if they were loving themselves, they would probably not have placed themselves in a stressful situation.
Exactly.
So we can say that as a group, as a collective group, they were not loving themselves, really. Not loving themselves. When you have to, what, quote unquote, of course, many of us would call it a tragedy, depending on your perception, because you create your reality by way of your perceptions. And now I see Moxie is giving us.
You gotta go, Greta. Go ahead, Carol. Take us to break.
All right. I hate interrupting Greta when she's on a roll, but we do want to hear from the realm on this. So we are going to take a quick break. And when we return, listeners, we will hear directly from the realm themselves about this quote. So please stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, listeners. Thank you for sticking with us. This is Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on Transformation Network. This is the part of the podcast where the realm comes, channeled through Greta, and talks about the quote that they've given us. So, Realm, are you with us?
Of course, as usual, we are here.
And we always love when you're here. All right, we've been talking about stress and how we can live without it. The quote you've given this week is, counter the creation of stress in your life by creating peace as your alternative to support you functioning in high vibration. Take it away, Realm.
We're going to take it away for real. We're going to take stress away. Let's just eliminate it. Why hang on to it? You know, who wants to be stressful? Nobody. But you know what happens? We've had some stress when we were children. You know, we got stressed out. Either our brothers or sisters stressed us out. Sometimes it's our parents. We go to school. Sometimes we get stressed out by the teachers. They stress us out. And there you go. So you're just having a wonderful time with that wonderful being called stress. And then we sit around and wonder, why are we stressed? You see. So, you see, we say we because we see ourselves as one with all of you. So your experience, because of the oneness, becomes our experience as well. So what we would like to tell you, it says in the quote, is peace. So the thing becomes, how do you create peace in your life when you're homeless? How do you create peace in your life when you're in rehab? How do you create peace walking on the beach and seeing the garbage that people left? How do you create peace? Is it that you create peace by just pretending that it's not there, not looking at it? You see, peace is internal, and we've been saying that since the beginning of the podcast. Peace is internal. But that word that Kathy said that Greta really liked, chill. Chill. All of you, take time in your lives to chill. If it's the children, take a break. Take a break. Take yourself out to dinner by yourself. You don't have to take the whole family with you. You want to get a break? Take yourself to the show. And one thing that we have said in many of these podcasts is fall in love with yourself. You know, we're so interested in falling in love with others. Now, this is the opportunity to create peace within yourselves so that you will fall in love with you. Give yourself a vacation. You don't have money to go on a vacation. Don't stress about that. Take a walk in the park and see how great all of that is. Enjoy the birds. Enjoy the trees. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to give you a feeling of serenity if you allow it. Be in the peace of the trees. Although lately some of the trees are quite angry. But
Yes, they
anyway,
are.
but the thing is that seek it. See, peace is not going to just come to you and says, "Here we are, we're peace, let us in." Hecky no. You've got to create it. And you don't have to create it by making it something big, like taking a cruise around the world. No, you can just go and sit near a body of a river or a body of a lake and just look on and see how the water moves so gently. And see yourself moving gently with it, you see. Now, some of you like the crashing of the waves. If that does it for you, that's good too. Something simple. It didn't cost you unless you got to pay to travel there, somehow to get to the beach or to get to the water. You're going to use your gas to get in your car, or you're going to ride your bike, or you're going to ride your motorcycle, or you're going to get on public transportation to get there. Yes, you have to put a little something into it. You have to put I don't like to use the word efforting, but it's not like an effort that you keep trying to do the same thing over and over and over and over again when you know you need to change from that. I'm talking about knowing, doing something, practicing it. Peace is something that is important for you to practice. You have to practice being peaceful, everybody.
I have a question in realm, because you set up my question for me. Why is it easier for humans, for us to attract low vibrational emotions, in quote, beings, and hold on to them than it is to attract the higher vibrational emotions and hold on to them? At least that's how it appears to me. And where do these low vibrational emotions come from? What's the origin of them? Why did we ask for them?
Well, you remember, if we go back to when you were experiencing the incarnation stage of your being, you were presented with the lessons. It was at that time you still realized you were the force. So you were taking these lessons. Then you moved out a little bit further from recognizing that you were the force. And then you said, well, how am I going to learn these lessons? So then you started off by, what did you do? Your first how was choosing your parents. And your parents helped set the stage for you to learn your lessons. They gave you epigenetics. They gave you genetics. You could watch them moving in their lives. If you chose a family that was very happy, then that's what are you going to learn from that? You're still learning from something. See, everything inside these realities is about learning. Everything is about learning. So, but you have choice. What do you want to learn and how do you want to learn it? Being stressed out is a how. You have a choice. I'm going to be stressed or I'm not going to be stressed. You always have a choice. You are the commander of your ship, which is you. So choose. Choose which one. You want to be stressed out? There are some people who enjoy being stressed. They don't feel normal if they're not stressed. Mm. They enjoy their hair falling out from the follicles or whatever. Because
I'm sorry.
They want to experience being bald because they want to stress them out. They've got on a $500 suit or a $1,200 suit, $700 pair of shoes, looking as good as they could possibly be from the outside. On the inside, they're stressed as I don't know what. You see. So just because you come in a pretty package doesn't mean that the inner package is that great. You see.
Realm, I have a question now.
Yes.
Sort of taking what Kathy just mentioned about choosing high vibrational emotions versus low vibrational emotions. In my mind, and maybe this is just for me, would one consider high vibrational to be perhaps more challenging and that it's easier to deal with low vibrational, and that's why some people choose to go in that direction?
It depends on the person, Carol. It doesn't mean that just because you're in the dumps that it's easier for you to be in the dumps than it is for you to be in high vibration. It depends on you. It depends on what type of lifestyle did you bear yourself to be born in. Where did you put yourself? Did you put yourself in a condo on Madison Avenue in New York City that cost $10,000 a month to rent? Or did you put yourself in a thatch housing in the Amazon rainforest? It depends on your setting the pace. You're setting the pace for yourself. You can set your pace to make it easy. You could have selected a situation where you selected parents who are going to be quite wealthy, give you a very easy life, and it would appear that you are continuing that easy life. You're taking over daddy's business, and you are still a billionaire. You see.
That would have been a nice lesson.
But you see, that's
It
easy
all
to
depends.
say that, Carol, but you don't
That's
know.
true. That is true.
You do not know. Remember, we said you can be in that $1,200 suit looking as good on the outside. But then when you look on the inside, you have
not so
some
good looking.
challenges. Maybe your marriage is not working out, your children can't stand you. You never know where that person is, you see. Because each one of us is learning a lesson.
And I do, Greta reminds me of this often, that I have a tendency to compare and think that others have better situations than I have. And I wonder, why did I create a situation that's not making me happy? And she reminds me a couple of things. One is, I don't know what that other person's lessons are. And she also told me some people may have more challenging lessons, and that I need to look at what I have accomplished, that I forget that I've overcome a lot of pretty difficult challenges in my life and survived.
I've done the same thing, Carol.
I forget to give myself props for it. So, again, we're getting to that judgment. Don't judge others, and really don't judge yourself either, because you are doing the best you can. You're creating the reality you want to create as best as you can. And we have to
guess what?
ourselves.
When you're getting into that position that you don't want to criticize others, you leave a way that you don't have to judge others or judge situations, then you're beginning to love those individuals unconditionally as you are loving yourself unconditionally. And guess what? Another word synonymous with loving self can be peace.
Mm.
You see, when you don't have to start thinking about that's a terrible person over there. Look what that person did, and da 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 da, and you're just getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you're just stressing yourself out more and more and more because you got to talk about how horrible that person is. Look what that person is doing. Look what he's going to do. Look what she's doing. What are you doing to yourself? You're stressing yourself out. But when you start to operate with the idea of, oh, well, look what happened. Look what those people created. Or look what that person created. And then loving unconditionally is it's okay, whatever they created. Guess what? You're not in stress anymore over it. You're only in stress when you attach yourself emotionally to the challenge.
Realm, why do we do that? I think as humans, we do tend to involve ourselves in areas that perhaps we don't need to be involved in. It sort of seems like a humanoid natural tendency.
Well, that's a judgment call too, Carol, that you just made.
Ah, okay.
Because it is what it is.
I love that expression.
It is what it is. Kathy had a hole in her roof. It is what it is. You see. It just is. We don't have to say it's bad. We don't have to say it's good. We don't have to say it's evil. We don't have to say any of that stuff. It just is what it is. And you're in peace over the whole doggone thing. As Kathy said.
Chill.
Absolutely.
I think I'm going to coat myself in some ice blue energy until January 2025.
There you go.
And you know what else, Realm? I'm going to watch my box. I'm focusing on my box now. And I'm removing things from my box. And then if I invite something into my box, I go, you know what? I don't need that in my box. And for the past couple of days, I really have limited watching any of the news, so the past couple of weeks, and just focusing on other projects and things that I have to work on and get out of the way. And it's just been I'm creating a space. I'm creating a break, and I'm learning how to manage my box. I'm putting in file cabinets now in my little box. I'm filling my box up right now.
You provide such great visual expression.
I'm improvising because I need a bed in my box too, you know.
Kathy, I'm going to tell you, I have not watched the news in years. Because a very long time ago, I can't remember who the speaker was, but it was someone who was like a Deepak Chopra type of person who was explaining how to extend one's life, make oneself healthier in life. And the number one thing on the list he said was don't watch the news because all it does is project negativity to you. And that stresses you out just listening to it. And I've been berated by some people like, how can you not watch the news and you don't see what's going on? And I look at it as if it's something that's big enough for me to know about, I'm going to find out about it.
But you know what, Carol? I hear you.
I don't need to know about the mugging that happened in a state that I don't live in. Yeah, but all that is what's coming out of the TV on the news.
But Carol, maybe my lesson and what I am practicing on how to manage my box is basically to be able to watch those things, to observe those things and not become emotionally attached to it. And that's what I'm working on with my box right now.
That's great. That is great.
Because if you don't want to watch the news, that's fine. But for me, because I have that interest and it's attracting to me, I'm attracted to it. I'm working on how to do that and chilling
With a filter almost.
Chill.
Yeah. That's good.
Absolutely. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. But you know what? What did you say you're going to put over yourselves?
I said I'm going to put a ice blue film.
Oh, ice blue
Ice
energy.
blue film. That'll work. That'll work. It'll chill everything out. But the thing is that you may see something that you're not expecting to see. And it is something that if you were functioning in stress mode, it would stress you out tremendously. But if you've decided to practice being in peace, when that hits you, it's not going to hit you as hard.
Mm.
It may still hit you, but it won't hit you as hard. It's like with the Olympics that are coming up. Greta's been watching, and we've been sitting and watching with her. We like to see the people running.
Oh, I do too.
So, but the thing is, look how long they practice.
Right.
When they get out there, the race is just a minute or 2 minutes, some of them, depending on how long and how far they have to run. But
17 seconds.
It's over. But look how long they've practiced.
Practice. That's how they got to the Olympics in the first place. You're right.
Absolutely. So we're in the Olympics every day. It's the Olympics of life.
Mm.
And with that realm, we're going to go up and away as your productivity soars July 19th, 2024. Oh, look how far, look how I went that far.
19.
Really up there. So I didn't mean to cut you off, Realm, but Carol, it's time.
We're out of time, as usual. It's very difficult to not listen to the Realm for as long as possible. Realm, thank you so much for joining us. Listeners, thank you for joining us. Kathy, Greta, and Transformation Network. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys, and we're very happy for all the support. Everybody enjoy your week, and until we create each other again, be in peace.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the Realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.